This video contains themes of sexual assault and violence. Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewers' discretion is advised. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Omodele Salu, and if you're here, that means you're invested in true crime content as much as I am. So welcome, take a seat. I'm going to be posting a lot of content like this, so if this is something that you would like, please like, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on so you can get notified when I post a new video. Cults. Today we're going to be talking about cults. According to Britannica Dictionary, in modern English, a cult that pertains to religion is a small religious group that is not part of a larger and more acceptable religion, and it also has beliefs that are considered by many people to be extreme or dangerous. In chapter 24 of the book Religious and Cultural Conflicts in America by Catherine Wessinger, Wessinger writes, "The English word cult is derived from the Latin cultus, referring to care, adoration, or worship. Therefore, the descriptive definition of cult as utilized by religious studies scholars and anthropologists refers to an organized system of worship focused on an adored object. The object of adoration is typically regarded as partaking of a sacred, unseen, and spiritual reality that is believed to have a powerful effect on human beings." In the United States, since the beginning of the 20th century, however, the term cult has been used to refer to religious groups that are feared and hated. Every culture and historical period has had stigmatized, marginal, and dissenting religious groups and movements, but the application of the term cult to such groups is relatively recent. Usually, these religious groups are misunderstood by their critics, and their dangers are magnified in the popular imagination. During the late 20th century, new religious movements started to come up in the United States, and also around this time, there were rumors of cult activity spreading in the United States too. There were rumors that these cults were engaging in blood sacrifices and/or orgiastic sex rituals and/or child abuse, and this was really bad for the new religious movements because yes, there are some cults that do all these horrible things, but there are also some cults, I don't know if it feels wrong saying cult, or these new religious groups that are good, or at least there's no evidence yet to say that these people are horrible people, right? But because of that fear, people were just like lumping all of them together. According to encyclopedia.com, the Process, an allegedly satanic organization active in Great Britain and the United States during the 1960s, was repeatedly targeted as a cult in this negative sense. But a detailed sociological study of the group by William Bainbridge in 1978 showed that the popular image was misleading. Yes, some cults did engage in violent and abusive acts, giving warrant to these fears, but there are cults that are not dangerous. As soon as I read that, I went on to Google, like, are all cults bad? What are the good cults? Because I need to join one. I'm joking. I'm not joking. I actually went to check if all cults are bad. Yeah. So I got a reply on, not the reply, I got an answer on Quora, and this person claims to be an ex-member of a cult. So let's read. First though, cults are not all inherently bad. The problem is you have people willing to devote their lives and afterlife to these leaders, which is fine at first, but that kind of power is poison. So let me explain some things that occur when you are devoted to some assholes. Your money is now their money. You are seen as a money piece and you will be expected to produce. When you can't produce, you are put down, both literally and figuratively. You have zero value. You are ejected from the cult immediately, either psychologically or physically. Your family is gone. You now have a new family. None of them love you. They are all there for the same thing. They are just looking for their missing piece. They will smile and pretend that they care for you as much as they care for a boss at work. If your old family becomes a threat to the new one, you will be manipulated into ceasing to talk with them. Everyone outside of the cult is now an enemy. You will be assigned a job. You will do your job from sun up till sundown. Mine was chopping woods, making various baked goods and walking dogs. I was 13 years old. I chopped a ton of woods. You are a slave, but you won't feel like one. You have already given up the right to think that way. So to answer my question, are all cults bad? I don't think so. I want to believe that there are some good ones. I did read a bit on some of these new religious movements that are supposed to be good, and I'm hoping that they are because I don't know. But I'm also a cynic, and I think that nothing good can come from giving anyone that much power in an uncontrolled environment, right? Especially when these cults and new religious movements do not identify with the more mainstream religious practices, so it's easy to convince their members that whatever craziness is going on in there is the right way to do things. And look, even with the supervised mainstream religions, you still hear some jaw to the ground baffling shit going on there. So please, there's a reason for the regulatory bodies. Let's use it. Let's use it. Beginning in the 1930s, cults became the object of sociological study in the context of the study of religious behavior. Since the 1940s, the Christian counter-cult movement has opposed some sects and new religious movements, labeling them cults because of their unorthodox beliefs. In the 1970s, the term cult conveyed a stereotype involving what can be called the might of the omnipotent leader in combination with the might of the passive and brainwashed follower. Why do people join these cults? The Vow HBO's docuseries is a documentary about NXIVM, a sex cult that marketed itself as a multi-level marketing company that sold self-improvement courses. One of the many questions the Vow aims to answer is, how do people get so sucked into a cult that even when they get that moment like, oh shit, I'm in a cult, they don't leave? And even when they know they are being exploited sexually, emotionally, financially, physically, they still stay. When we hear the abuse and crazy stuff going on in this cult, we think to ourselves like, that can never be me, right? Why do these people join these cults? It can never be me. I can never be fooled into joining a cult. But it's not as simple as we make it seem, right? Let's take stanship culture as an example here. Remember when a certain celebrity, not going to mention the name, certain celebrity came forward to say about the COVID vaccine, and people were using that as an excuse not to get, people that know that if anything, say they get the virus, they know that they won't get the same medical care as this person, this celebrity would, and they were using that as an excuse not to get the vaccine. And I'm like, bro, want better for yourself. And it's not just that. We also see how fans do this really crazy stuff for their faves without the faves even asking them to. So imagine when they're now saying the words. People join cults for different reasons, and I'm going to be talking about a few of those reasons. Number one is a sense of community. It is comforting to know that there are people out there who accept you, care for you, love you, and because you guys are working towards a specific goal, it feels like you're a part of something big. Number two is self-development. Now, going back to The Vow, the HBO docuseries about NXIVM, the sex cult that marketed itself as a multi-level marketing company that focuses on self-improvement courses. You can see how someone who is obsessed with self-development can get sucked into a cult like this. And when you think about it, to be in a cult, you need a high level of commitment. They keep on telling you they'll make you a better you, bring out your better self. And what is self-development if not that? For number three, we have vulnerability, trauma, and timing. A lot of these people are at a time in their life where they are dealing with a lot of trauma and they are really vulnerable. And if they think that this cult can get them what they need in that moment, so comfort, food, shelter, love, they just figure, why the hell not? I would also like to point out that people having a hard time with their mental health can get easily influenced to join cults like this, and they are often exploited. Number 4 is desperation, and this is kind of connected to number 3, which is vulnerability, timing, and trauma, but I wanted it to have like its own spot so that I can talk more on it. So desperation in this world of uncertainties, I'm going to be telling you on my COVID experience, and I feel ashamed just thinking about it. It's nothing for me to be this ashamed about, I guess. I don't know. Okay, let's go. In 2020, when COVID-19 was at its worst in Nigeria, the whole country was shut down. I think this is worldwide, I guess. Yeah, the whole country was shut down, and you could not go about your business. You could not go to work. So there was no way for you to make money, and we're all just staying at home wondering what is going to happen next, right? So that feeling, that I don't know, it felt like nothing. Oh God, why does it feel like I'm thinking? Okay, it felt like you had no hope. Yes, in 2020. And then the government started to talk about palliative, so relief funds here, and we're like, okay. But I knew that it was a lie because I don't know. I'm thinking about when the Nigerian government has actually like not disappointed us, and I can't think of a time. I can't. They always disappoint. So they're talking about COVID relief funds and blah blah blah, but then days turned into weeks and weeks into months, and there was nothing, right? I remember one of my neighbors actually brought like a paper where she's like, the local government so and so said you guys should write your name and write your account number, and they will send money to you. And people were actually hoping on that. I'm like, that is not going to come. All right, we know the Nigerian government. So then there were like rumors started spreading about the different states and the different locations where the palliative warehouses were. That is the warehouses where there were food supplies and medical supplies. So everybody started to get ready. And they found the one that was in my state. It was really close to my house. So our neighbor came to meet us, like that's me, my sister, and I came to meet us like, okay, we're going to a couple of, like, not a couple of us, a lot of us are going to go there. Are you coming with us? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, let's try it. It seems like fun. And so we all went. We left very early, very around 5 a.m. And this time in Nigeria is still dark, and where it was not safe to be out by that time, right? But we left that time, and somebody in the group was even like, this thing is not safe, or they feel robbed us, so like they feel steal, like they can steal from us. And someone else replied like, even the robbers, the people that want to steal from us, and they dare our midst, so they go gather their own palliatives, no shaking, like there's nothing's going to happen to us. So we all went to the location. We saw soldiers with like big guns, big guns, and they were like kind of telling us to go back and all of that, but people were not having it. I don't know, they said they did shoot warning shots, but people said it was blanks. We don't know, but I'm hoping it was blanks though. And but people were not having it. They burst through, went in, some were climbing the fence, jumping in, and were able to get some stuff, my sister and I. And just to paint the picture, my sister and I at this point, yes, we're angry and frustrated, but we still had support. We had family support, we had savings, we had a plan B, but we're still desperate enough to go to this place. That's very dangerous, by the way. There were soldiers shooting there. We're still desperate enough to go to this place. So imagine someone with none of that. So no family support, no plan B, no savings, none of that. Imagine a cult is offering them hope, offering them stability in this world of full of uncertainties. Imagine what is going to be their response to that. So yeah, that can be one of the reasons many people join cults. And I'm not making light of the situation right now. I'm not making light of the situation, that the whole COVID-19 stuff. But it was not funny, and someone actually did get seriously injured. And yeah, she survived, but she got seriously injured. So yeah, it's not fun at all. Those are a few of the very many reasons why people join cults. There are a long list of them, but I could not cover all because I don't want this video to be too long. So yeah, it's bigger than people getting brainwashed because they are not smart. Sure, definitely there's brainwashing involved, but to be in that place, a place where you cannot filter out what is crazy and what is okay, is truly a bad place for anyone. And when they are already sucked in and start to see that what is going on in this cult is not okay, like when they have that moment of, oh shit, this is a cult, right? They are thinking, how do I start over? Where do I even start from? One thing that used to bother me about it, especially about this cause, especially women who willingly join, because we know cults are horrible to women, right? But they willingly join this cause, and when they find out that this cult, they're doing horrible things, they don't leave, and some of them even partake in the abuse going on in the cults. And I think then I was yet to process, I was yet to see, okay, how do I put this? Okay, I was here to see these women who technically gave consent to their abusers as victims, right? And it took me, I think it's because society I grew up in, and also because I was not in spaces online where the conversations surrounding consent and all of that were being had, I guess. And it's like shows like I started watching SVU pretty recently, like I think some like 2-3 years ago. Just it has so many episodes. I'm sorry, so many seasons, so many episodes. So yeah, so shows like SVU where they covered consent, and I saw how the justice, even when the women like technically gave consent to the abusers, I saw how they were still fighting for justice. I guess I'm not saying the justice system is perfect. Yes, there are many cases that just go, but yes, just like SVU, and also me consuming a lot of true crime content, and also seeing similar how justice is being carried out in the cases of women who technically gave consent to their abusers, right? So yeah, so I'm having to like unlearn a lot of things. I'm having to like relearn a lot of things too. So now I've talked about the reasons why people join cult, a few of the reasons why people join cult. We have defined cult as it pertains to religion. We've also talked about the rumors, how the rumors of cult activity started spreading, and the fear that that put in people. So now let's get into today's case. Today we are going to be talking about the cult Angel's Landing and the leader, Daniel Perez. Daniel Perez was born in Aransas Pass, Texas in 1959. We do not know much about Daniel's life before the cult, but we do know he has a daughter and that he wasn't always the best person and was also often on the wrong side of the law. In 1977, he was wanted for sexual assault. However, he evaded arrest and seemed to just vanish off the face of the earth. So a lot of people, including the authorities, thought he was most likely dead. But Daniel was alive and well and living under the pseudonym Lou Castro. Under this false pretense, he began moving from place to place, recruiting members into his cult, and along the way, they were finally able to settle down on a 20-acre property in North Wichita, Kansas. Daniel called his cult Angel's Landing and also said he believed himself to be a 1,000-year-old angel. Daniel started to tell his followers and potential followers, made up of mostly women, that he was a psychic and that he had mystical powers. Daniel was so obsessed with his young female followers, and he said that he needed to have sex with them to stay alive, and he would try to justify this to his other followers, like, look, I need to do these horrible things to these babies in order for me to like stay alive, then die, bruv. Daniel was also stealing from his followers. He devised a plan to make money using the life insurance policies of the deceased members. He was living so lavishly and spending so much that soon the authorities started to suspect that something fishy was going on, because how can a man with no job, no income stream on paper, be living such a grand lifestyle? In 2003, a member of the cult died. Her name was Patricia Hughes and she was just 26 years old. Her death was ruled an accident, and the Daniel in particular got $1 million from her insurance policy. Daniel and some of the other members of the cult were questioned by the police, and they all gave the same statement. Patricia had drowned in the pool while trying to save her own daughter from drowning. Because they cooperated and their story stayed consistent, the police had no reason to investigate any further, and soon the case was closed, with Daniel being $1 million richer. In 2006, Patricia's husband, who was also a member of the cult, died, and Daniel also received a huge insurance payout. Brian Hughes was killed when a car jack supposedly failed, causing the vehicle he was working on to fall and crush him. 2 years later, their daughter, who was left in the care of Daniel, was also killed in a traffic accident. So, okay, first time is chance. Second time, coincidence maybe. Third time's the pattern, and authorities were starting to get suspicious. Why is it that anytime Daniel Perez's bank account went below $10,000, someone in his cult would just accidentally die? There were 6 so-called accidents over a period of 7 years. Years after Patricia's death, after the authorities had moved on to other craziness happening in the area and probably forgotten about Patricia's case, a child who was 11 at the time of Patricia's death reached out to the police. She said she wanted to tell the truth and that Patricia's death was much more than an accident. We are going to be referring to this witness as 11. Daniel had known about Patricia's insurance policy. He knew that it was huge and he just got tired of waiting for her to die by chance. So he told 11 to take Patricia's daughter into a nearby office, and while 11 was waiting in the office, she heard a splash and then a loud scream. Moments later, Daniel walked into the office soaked. It was later discovered that Patricia was held underwater until she took her last breath, and Daniel had threatened his followers to tell the police the version he had made up, which was that Patricia had drowned trying to save her daughter from drowning. 11's statement emboldened more of the cult members to come forward with their own statements. There were stories of sexual assault, especially with the young female members, and one female member told the cult that Daniel had raped her hundreds of times. He had raped his female members between the ages of 8 to 16. Another member recalled one incident where Daniel had told her to videotape an 8-year-old child in the bathroom. The police found the tapes at his residence. In 2010, Daniel Perez or Lu Castro was arrested and 28 charges were brought against him. There were 1 count of first-degree murder, 8 counts of rape, 7 counts of aggravated criminal sodomy, 3 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of sexual exploitation of a child, and 8 counts of making false information. The trial began in 2015 and it showed absolutely no remorse in court. He was found guilty by the jury on all charges and was given 2 life sentences along with 406 months for lesser charges with no possibility of parole for 80 years. He is currently serving his time at the Lansing Correctional Facility in Kansas. And that brings us to the end of today's case. Thank you for making it to the end. I'm thinking of creating kind of like a cult series. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. And also what you think about this case in general. If you have anything to add or to remove, right? You take care of yourself. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And I'll see you for the next one.